Hey, Mama, I'm back with part two from last week. This is a continuation here at Fun Rich Mom. Again, I am Mitch Blackford. Ugh, this is a good one. I love this topic about simple changes that can break you out of feeling stuck, that can break patterns. And last week we talked about our body, we talked about our attention. And this week we're going to talk about the final two steps that you can do anywhere to start to change that feeling of being stuck. So, with that, let's get started. So just a quick recap in case you didn't hear last week's episode. I would suggest just going back and listening to it. I made them short for a reason, but we started with the story of my daughter and her math, and anytime she would come to the end of a unit, how there was assessment, and we'd automatically have this draw in, turtle mode protection, panicked breathing, and I can't do this, I don't know if I can do this routine that started to occur. And so I wanted to break this for her so it didn't become a pattern in her life, because our brains love patterns, they love routines, because it just makes life easier to move forward, to do things without having to think, right? We love autopilot. It's simple, it's easy, and it can work really well, or it can work in ways that work against us, right? Ever found yourself on the phone after 3 hours? You're like, holy crap, I was supposed to get something done, but I watched a lot of TikTok, right? That's autopilot. And it's also something that's stimulating to your brain, because your brain likes to be stimulated too. So these are things that we can do that are simple and can stimulate our brain and get us moving in the direction that we want, move us out of those patterns. So again, the first one was body, creating motion, breathing deeply, getting that oxygen to your executive functions up at the top of your head so that we can start to think of ideas to get us out of those old patterns. The second one was attention. What are you paying attention to? Because anything you attend your thoughts to, you're going to have the zoom in right on that. And so you're going to get more of whatever you're attending to. So be really careful about where it is that you're putting your thoughts. Catch yourself, because again, we get into autopilot. Sometimes you don't even realize that you've gone down the rabbit hole, but you know that you're not feeling good and you're beating yourself up. And all of a sudden it's like, oh, wait a second. Dang, I'm speaking some really harsh words to myself, which gets us into step number 3, and that is your speech. So the next thing that would happen, besides the turtle movement, the shallow breathing, and focusing her attention on the things of how she was going to fail, was her speech. So basically, she would start saying this: I can't do this. I don't know this. I don't know if I can do this. Our brain doesn't want to be wrong, and our speech is so powerful. We have a tendency to speak our life in metaphors. So, for example, have you ever heard of the phrase, life is like a bowl of cherries? If you meet someone like that, how do you think that they are usually going to be presenting themselves in life? Life is like a bowl of cherries. I think of someone who's having fun, that maybe kind of dances throughout the day, that has a smile on their face. Versus if you meet someone that their common phrase is, I feel like I'm always stuck. I'm like on this sinking ship. I can't get anywhere. Do you see the difference? Like, even just the way my body changed in saying those phrases. It's really hard to say, I feel like I'm stuck smiling. Let me try it. I feel like I'm stuck. I can't even say it without laughing. But you're starting to see what I'm saying. Your speech is powerful, and we create these patterns of speech without even realizing it. I can't even tell you how many times I used to look in the mirror and be like, oh, God, I'm just, I just see all of this. And I'd get into it. And it was like a constant every morning. Every time I'd pass the mirror, oh, see, there's Flabby, there's Flabby. Oh, ooh, ooh, ooh. And then I wonder why I would keep getting more of the same, because my brain would be like, oh, we're Flabby. Let's go make sure that sticks on us. How about another candy bar? Or let's just eat a little too much. So that way, every time I say something, I'm speaking that into my life. And so I realized I needed to change her speech pattern around her math and around these assessments. I needed to change my speech patterns about what I was speaking into my life. And it's just so subtle sometimes. We don't even recognize how we are bringing ourselves down by the things that we say. But if you really start to pay attention, right? Back to number two, you really start to pay attention, then you can start to hear some of these things that you're speaking into your life. And you're like, oh, holy crap, no wonder I keep getting this because I keep saying it over and over and over again. I am training my brain that this is who I am, that this is what I should be paying attention to, and that this is how I should react and respond. So back to my daughter with math. First thing we did, like I said last week, get her up, get her moving, jumping jacks, skating, running around. I don't care what it was, anything to get her breathing enough to oxygenate her brain, get that movement so that the blood could actually circulate and she could get out of that limbic system, that fear mode. The second thing was, hey, let's pay attention to the fact that this lesson right before it, you absolutely aced it, you rocked it. This is the same thing. It's just different numbers, but the same pattern. So let's pay attention to the fact that you know this stuff. And the next thing is let's change our speech around it because her speech was, I can't do this. I don't know if I've got it. This is too hard. Hey, I love this. Her jujitsu coach always says that we like hard things. Why? Because it makes us better. And so we changed the meaning of hard. Our attention of hard went from, ooh, I can't do this to hard. Yes, I can eat this for breakfast. And we also changed the meaning in the way we say it. I like hard things. Doesn't mean I always want hard things, but when hard things come my way, I got this. And that is now our mantra is I've got this. Every time she sees that purple assessment page, what do we say? I've got this. And I make her sit up because the first time she did it, she's like, I've got this. And I pointed it out to her. I was like, baby, let me just tell you what I just saw. And I would adopt her position. I'd kind of get in this hunch and I'd breathe, and I'd tell her, I'd be like, I got this. And of course she's looking at me and she starts laughing because I look ridiculous, which is basically how she looked. I was really imitating her, maybe a little exaggeration just for dramatic license and to get the point across, but she got it. I said, is it really that bad? It was literally just a flip of the page. Is it really this bad that we have to do this? And you might be laughing thinking, kids, they're so dramatic, but really we're the same too. We may not be as like this, but we do the same thing. We start speaking these patterns into our life like, have you ever said, oh, this is so hard. Oh, this sucks. Oh, I feel like, oh, I hate it when I have to do this. Right? You get that? It's subtle sometimes. We don't even pay attention to our speech patterns. So I challenge you this week to start really listening, not only to yourself. Sometimes it might be easier to catch other people at first. Start paying attention to your kids, to your husband, to your friends, whoever is around you, and listen to the words that they repeat a lot. Not like and but the patterns that they're saying. And you can start to see why they have this certain countenance about them, why they act a certain way, why they keep getting a certain thing. And it's like, wow, it's really eye opening. And once you start catching their patterns, now you can start turning in your attention back to your speech patterns. And it's really just, whoa, I did not realize that this is the way I speak. And this is the life I am speaking for myself into this world. And so that's a simple thing that we can start to change from it's too hard to I eat hard for breakfast. Or, oh, I don't think I got this to I've got this. Might mean some work, might mean some creativity, doesn't matter. I've got this. From, oh, there's flabby arms to, ooh, there's that body that gets me what I want, that moves me from point A to point B, that has lived life, that had my children for me, that still moves and does things even if I, don't want to at this age is doing whatever. It's just, do you see the appreciation now? Now it's like I appreciate my body. I want to take care of it. Not, oh, it's just flabby. Let me go eat some more chocolate because it feels good. I don't know why. I don't speak in that voice when I eat chocolate, but it just seemed right. Right. Okay, so speech, body, attention, speech. Let's move into number 4. And this is like a culmination of all of these things together. And that is our energy. Body, attention, speech, energy. If you put it all together, it's our base. our base, our foundation. This is what we rise up from or we fall down from. Our energy is huge. And I know right away you can probably think of 10 different people with these examples. You know someone who is energetic, that every time you're around them, you just feel lifted up. You feel good. Their energy just is like, feed you. And you know people that are exactly the opposite. Every time you're around them, you just feel like they just sucked all of the life out of you. Like took a cord like you're like, oh my god, I just need to get away. Help, help. And you're crawling out, right? So energy makes all of the difference. Now we have three different states of energy. There's energy rich, energy neutral, and energy poor. Okay. So automatically, who are the energy rich people in your life? You can think of them right now. How do they show up? Let's go back to their body and their movement. Are they usually like the turtle shell people, all pulled in and slow and breathing? No, those energy rich people are usually the ones that have great posture, even if it's not like perfect posture. They're open, they're resourced, they're breathing, they use their body and make it work for them. Okay. Energy rich versus energy poor. Now let's think about the energy poor people. And again, right there, I don't know. I automatically go to Eeyore. It's a bad day. He's always kind of faces it's down. Everything about him is just pulled in. So that's your energy poor. Most of us live between energy neutral and energy poor. Energy neutral is not a bad place to be. I mean, if we were energy rich constantly, that would take a lot of energy. And it's good to have contrast in our life. That's something I really want to point out. It is not a bad thing to have a bad day every now and then, or to have feelings where you just need to get them out, or where you're feeling low on energy. It's not a bad thing. You just don't want to get stuck there. Okay. And it's also the a reason that's good to have it is because now we have contrast. So when we are in our energy rich stage, we can contrast it with when we're in our energy poor. And it feels so much richer. It feels better when you know the differences between those two things. So it's not a bad thing. We just don't want to get stuck there. Okay. So I want to make that really clear. And energy neutral, not a bad place to be as well, but we want to have those differences in our life. Hopefully, more energy rich versus energy poor. So, what energy are you putting out into the world? Now, on a day to day basis, like you're at work, you're at home, you're doing the laundry, right? It's not like, hey, I get to do laundry. Do, 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 do. Let's put the laundry in. I'm doing the laundry. This is great. I mean, you can. My dog's like, hey, you can do that if you want to, and it'll make probably doing laundry a much more fun experience, or at least fun for the people who are watching you. But you get what I'm saying. It's okay to have that energy neutral, but every now and then take a moment and realize, hey, I do laundry however often I do. Why don't I make this a fun experience? Why don't I make something good out of it instead of like, I gotta do laundry, or oh, I have to fold the clothes. Like throwing the clothes into the washer for me, not that big a deal. For some reason, taking them out and folding them and putting them up, that's just a whole different story. So change your energy around it. Let's make it an energy rich moment where my body is moving. I'm attending to some cool thoughts because I really don't have to think about folding. And I'm saying some words into my life that are going to speak life into me. And that's going to change again into an energy rich moment. So you can take things that are very routine and very boring and just like everyday doldrum part of life, and you can push it up into that energy rich area. Like I said, do you have to do everything energy rich? No, you don't. Energy neutral is fine. Energy poor every now and then is fine. But every now and then, if you want to switch things up and you want to break out of those patterns, break out of those routines and feel like you're not in the rut, throw some energy richness in there. We've got the body, attention, and speech elements down that we now know how to do it. We now know how to resource ourselves to do this. And then also, if we're trying to add something into our life, this is a good area where we want to be in an energy rich state. So, again, back to the first thing you're going to want to do is change that body movement. Throw those shoulders back. Breathe in deep. This is the base, base, base. That's why it's number one body, base. That's the number one change to getting all of the other things to flow together. It's really hard to change your attention when your body is low. It's really hard to change your speech patterns when your body isn't reflecting it. It's really hard to be an energy rich when your body isn't there with you too. So that's not to say that, I understand that sometimes we have some physical limitations or things that can get in the way, but that doesn't mean you can't breathe. There isn't anyone that can't at least raise their shoulders and take a deep breath in. So get rid of those excuses, because you can do that. If you are alive, you're above the ground, you can take deep breaths and you can make those changes. So, going back to the story of my little precious girl, turn into that assessment page, seeing the purple border and realizing, oh my gosh, there's some judgment here in her mind. To me, it was just like, it's just showing what you got to do, and it's showing us where we need to work some more, which I told her. We implemented all those changes, changed her body, got her moving, got her breathing, changed her attention. You focused on this one on the page before, you rocked it. Changed her speech. I like hard things. I've got this. And then we put her in that energy rich state. And now she went through it. And in fact, it was funny because they have like a top portion, like this is the assessment part. And if they need more work, there's a bottom portion that they can do. Well, now she's doing both of them. Like, baby, you already did the first part. You were great. I know, but I want to do the second part. This is fun. And what a change that was, to go from, I can't do this. This is scary. This is hard. I don't know what to do, to I'm going to do all of it, even though I don't have to, because this is fun. We broke that routine. We got her out of that stuckness. We got her out of that fear, that panic. And that's as simple as it can be for any area of your life. And I want to take one more application to this as well. Think about the patterns of, what are you like around your family? What are you like when you come home and you see them? What are you like when you leave? And the reason I bring this up is because we start to create these patterns around how we react around people as well. So, for example, if you come home and you have a grumpy face, guess what? People, are your family, whoever they see you every single day when you come in, are going to start to associate you with grumpy. And that's a pattern that you can break out of using the B.A.S.E method: body, attention, speech, and energy. Because you don't want to be associated as, oh, energy just went down because mom came into the house after work. Oh, we're going to hear her gripe about her day. There's no problem with sharing your day. There's no problem with airing frustrations, but pay attention to how you're coming in, how people are seeing you, so that that is the first reaction that they carry through, and it becomes a pattern for them. Oh, grumpy time. Here we go. Versus, hey, I'm home. I'm so glad to see you guys. I'm here. It was a rough day, but now it's better. Oh, mom's home. She's great. Hey, let's ask her about her day. Maybe we can help her feel better. We want to hear what happened. And instead of like, oh, she's going to gripe about it, it's like, hey, let's help her vent it out, get it out of her system so that we can all get back on track, because mom's home and she's so awesome to be around. Think about other people in your life. When you see your spouse, how often are you reacting to them in a, hey, I see you, versus a, hey, what's up? What do you need? I need this. Do you see how this can start to affect your relationship and the way that you guys interact with each other? B.A.S.E, body, attention, speech, energy. How am I holding my body around? What is my attention when I am around my spouse? What is the speech that I have coming out, and how is my energy around them? And now you can start to see those patterns, right? And see why you might feel stuck. And you can make those simple changes, and you can start to create some new energy in the area of your relationship. Is there a lot more that we can go into? For sure. But that is the base. This is why it's body, attention, energy, or body, attention, speech, energy. It's the base of where you start change. And now I've got you thinking, right? You're thinking about all the different areas, like, oh, how am I showing up? How am I paying attention? Oh, what about that person? Oh, that's why I always feel this way around that person, because it's a pattern and I have started to expect it of them. So even if they come in smiling, I still have grumpy in my body around them, because I see grumpy so much more. So, ooh, that's big stuff right there. When you start to get that and you can start to change that, it will make a difference in your life. So, okay, we hit it up. Again, if you missed any of the first parts, go listen to the episode last week before we get more details about body and attention. And then start implementing these into your day, just little bits of pieces of your day. Hey, how am I standing? Why don't I just focus on standing with my shoulders back and taking deep breaths today, right? Why don't I focus on this attention instead? Why don't I listen to speech patterns today? Oh, hey, notice when I'm energy rich, what am I doing? What causes me to feel energy rich? When am I energy poor? What am I thinking about? How am I speaking? What can I do to at least bring myself up to energy neutral where I can start to think better thoughts? Okay. So, super simple stuff. Get your base down. Life is great. So easy, right? Yes, it is easy. And then you can start moving into other things. Okay, I think I have spoken 50 miles an hour worth of stuff in a 25-mile an hour zone. So I'm going to leave it at that. I am so excited to hear about how you implement this. Drop me a comment. Let me know what is the area that you realized, hey, this is the one I really need to focus in on, or that's the one that really made sense to me. I'd love to hear that. Share this with a friend so that they can be on this same journey with you guys, can be accountability partners. And of course, subscribe so that you guys so that you can be on the next episode, because we'll have some great stuff coming up too. With that, go out there, make it fun, make it rich, and I will talk to you next week. Bye-bye.